Hey guys, Art 131, and we are in where are we? Week 5. This is also the midterm week. So I sent an email about the midterm. I discussed it in the last video. You should know what it is. If you do not, email me and I'll let you know. We're not going to discuss it again. I already sent an email. Check your emails. But if you really don't know and aren't understanding what it is, if you have questions about it, give me an email and I'll address that individually. So this assignment is worth 2 grades for 2 assignments because the midterm is a separate grade. So it's number 9 and number 10 because I want you to take some time on it and make it a very good effort, epic drawing, if you will. Like I say, if you've painted before and you're good at it, you can paint this. But if you're a beginner painter, you're not very good at it, then let's keep to drawing. Okay, I'll show you some images of landscape because it's a big word. It could encompass a lot different content. I want all that shading and all that proportion and content. Something like this, although this is drawn very well, is very minimal as opposed to some other things that have more to it, like this one. Typically, it would be better if you went out and found some landscape to draw. And then when you're doing that, you're going to see all the lights and darks. You're going to see where the light is hitting from your light source, which would be the sun. And you're going to see where the light is not hitting, all the shadow side. Trees, branches, leaves, bushes, everything is going to have a representation of where the light is coming from through shadow areas and lit up areas where the light is catching. Okay, everything, even clouds do that. When they're very thick clouds, the top is lit up by the sun and the bottoms are kind of not. If it's wispy clouds, it's a little different, but the sky has a tone. The sky is not white. The sky has, and you're representing it in charcoal or graphite, it's going to be some sort of gray tone. Because it's either gray or blue, the sky. It's not white unless it's a blizzard, which we're not having right now, especially on the coast. There's a lot of different drawings here. You know, something like this is really awesome. You see how the tree in the foreground is very good detail and darker tones. Trees in the background are lighter tones, very grayed out because, washed out because they have atmospheric perspective. There's particles or mist in the air, and typically as something in the background that gets further and further away, it gets more misty and more misty, and less detail, less tone, less color, or whatever you're using, graphite tone. So that's why these look like they're in the background, because they are lighter and there's less detail showed on them through drawing. There's some detail, but not like this tree. So they separate themselves. And this one's in the foreground and that one's in the background. This is kind of interesting, maybe not all that much, but they did put a lot of effort into the different tones in the rock. It's not one tone. There's way different areas, all the way through here. Just like when we did the map shapes and shadows, when we did the crumpled paper, we did the other assignments that were showing different places to shade, where the dips and turns are, where the light is catching and where it isn't catching. It's the same with that. Landscape can be a lot of things. Now, I understand with the current situation, if you're not able or don't want to go out, then okay, work from another image that you either find here or somewhere else. Don't work from imagination, because you're not going to see, unless you're really, really good at that and can put in all the shadowing that's necessary and all the things that's necessary shadow-wise, shadows and light source-wise, lit up areas, to show the shape of things and where your light source is. Now, if you really have that together, maybe you could work from an imagination, but typically that doesn't work as well. Now, it can be a seascape too if you have some land in it and maybe a lighthouse or something. But the seascape can get pretty minimal since it's just the water. So I think if you're going to combine the water with it, that's fine. But mostly it should have some sort of land and maybe other content like buildings or sheds or something like that. Now, a lot of these are have color in them, but they're really interesting, of course. It's more of an impression of things, but we all can tell those are trees, and that's some sort of a sun or a moon over there. Okay? And all these dark and light areas in the background. The sky is not white. Okay, so here's a lot of ideas. It's kind of the Japanese idea. You'll see drawings where they've made the sky sort of white, but I don't think that's accurate, and it's really not realistic. I'm going to go to Bing and see, or Google, and see what happens here. They have a little different take on the images they're showing here. You know, this is considered a landscape. That also would work for illusion of depth, maybe, if you were to do that, because that's what it is. But maybe not. Just save it. Save that for another one. Reflections on lakes. That's a really good one to do. It's just a mirror image of that, but then you have wispy shading going through here to show it's a water, and there's a little bit of a ripple going on. Maybe a slight distortion of the image that way too, kind of going some places through here where the image gets a little distorted. Yes, the sky is white in this, but it really isn't accurate. Don't draw it like that. If you drew that, put some tone in the sky, and it wouldn't be scratchy tone unless there's clouds, and you're going to make the clouds. Or wispy tone, but not scratchy lines. Okay, so there's a lot of images to work from here, or some other thing that you get. This is more accurate for sky. Something like that. Okay, but I'd rather you go out and actually to a park setting, or maybe it's in the backyard, or you know, something where there's landscape. Landscape could be really close up sort of things, and it could be far away things, or anything in between. As long as you're sort of showing the landscape of what's going on. I'll provide a couple videos on drawing trees and other landscape ideas to get you going, but you're kind of going to have to work off what you already learned in the class. All the other shading we've learned and you've practiced, in proportion and layout. Composition. This is the placement of things. Make it interesting. Something, this road going down, you know, that would be more interesting than over here where it didn't show any road at all. Or this, where the river goes back here and then you've got the mountain right there, but it's not quite right in the middle. It's over to the side slightly. This is called composition. You're figuring out the placement of things to be the best idea. Asymmetrical is better than totally symmetrical because everything in the middle or set equally everywhere is boring again. So this house is sort of set on this off the middle. These trees and then these trees sort of work together, but these are smaller than those, so they do balance each other out. And what happens is your eye goes around to each object that way a little better, follows it. Okay, so you're getting the idea here, lots of landscape. Little misty mountain back in there, or are that clouds? From where I am, I have a bright light in my face from the sun. It's kind of not coming out, but whatever it is, put something in the sky, please, a tone. Lots of ideas here, though, for landscape, all right? And also with Bing. That's a cool one. But there's lots of lights and darks in there. There's good contrast. That's what you want, contrast. Contrast in lights and darks. That's going to give you shape. Everything doesn't look washed out that way. But these trees have a sort of a lit up area and a darker area. All the branches should have that, but they're kind of not representing that as much because they're pretty thin. But the light is coming from this direction. There's shadowing on the ground from various leaves in the trees, light and dark areas that are a shadow, or cast shadow from that. It could just be a park setting too, with a bench maybe, or just a road, or here's the little Japanese house thing. Let me put with road, see what happens. You can put anything in here on your own, with road, with this, with that, with, a little pathway down, going down. Super cool. But look at all the cast shadows, okay, from the fence. That makes it interesting. That places it somewhere, that grounds it. And even something like this, is very interesting. The sky has some tone, maybe very lit up in one area, but not the whole thing, okay? And kind of these telephone poles with an old truck, and, it's kind of a cool picture. You could work from one of these, or you could work from a real image, but if it's your imagination, unless you're really, really good at drawing, and you come up with really good ideas and you're going to shade everything correctly with your light source, it's probably not going to turn out as good as looking at something with all the cast shadows there and all the light source is there, and then like this one, all these branches and everything. This is a layering of branches. You do the ones in the background first, and then all these ones sort of go over it, but you do them lightly so that you don't have to erase a lot of stuff out. Because it's hard to get these in there after you've done the front part, but you can do that. Some have done that, but you work it as you will. All right, I'm going to leave that up to you, and then we're going to talk about. That's actually it for this week. You're getting 2 grades for this, so make it epic. You really have to work on it and really put the content in there. I don't want like one tree and a bunch of grass on the ground that is really boring and that's it. All right? No, I want lots of things. Many trees if you're going to do that. Landscape, different shades and stuff, rocks and stuff. Little bushes and branches and brambles and things if you're going to do that. Whatever it is, look at all the lights and darks and put them in. And you can't go wrong, really. If you're not looking at that and noticing it, not putting it in and shading, that's where you're going to go wrong. All right, let's look at this last one here. Super cool. A little pathway going down. It's got all these cracks and turns in it. Got the branches going over with little leaves and stuff. Got these mountains in the back, or those other trees. You can't make them out. There's no detail, but they're just back there, lightly grayed in. And then all this other stuff is over that. All these other trees start getting closer and closer. They're over the background. So you really start with the background and start working the foreground on it, like you're layering. All right, so look for those other videos, and we'll leave it at that, and I'll talk with you later. Oh, the midterm presentation is due this week, so get it in by Sunday night. What is Sunday night? That is the 17th. So Sunday night by midnight, get it in. Send it to me in an email attachment, PowerPoint or Google Slides or a video or something like that. Okay? It's about an artist, art style, art movement, something in art history, 5 minutes long, 5 or more images, and your own artwork relating to your subject has to be included in the PowerPoint. Your own artwork, one piece, included in the presentation. Okay, and send it to me in an email attachment by Sunday night. All right, thank you.